Well, thank you very much, Eric, and appreciate everybody tuning in today as well. The company is Evergold Corp. We're really new and fresh, and we are definitely drilling for discovery this summer. That's our objective, that's our mission, discovery, and I think we're close to doing it. We've got 2 flagships, and I'll walk you through them, but as the cover slide shows, we've got one of our pads set up right on the top of Pyramid Peak, which we believe is the center of an intrusive system. And over at our other property, Golden Lion, we've got a series of related targets, most of them in outcrop, which we believe we stand a very high likelihood of delivering discoveries from. Moving to slide 2 here, of course, take everything that's being said with a bit of a grain of salt. There's a lot of built-in estimations and expectations. COVID-19, of course, has been in the news big time lately. It's been a serious challenge for many of our little companies. What I would say is we're very well positioned in northern BC in terms of being able to execute our program this summer. We've been designated essential service. The incidence of virus is very low in northern BC and the interior. All our key suppliers are located up in that neck of the woods, and we don't need to be bringing people in from outside. So we've developed protocols. We've actually been working on site at our Golden Lion property even in the last couple of weeks. And that's given us a lot of confidence in our ability to execute the full program. And that's what we're busily marching toward right now. I just briefly talk about the opportunity here. I want people to understand it's a capital gains opportunity. That's all it is, pure and simple. We're not a producer. I don't think it's likely that we personally ever will be. Our goal is to deliver discoveries of merit, and by that I mean these are discoveries that could become mines. And if through our work we're able to demonstrate that they have the wherewithal to potentially become a mine, we would ideally turn it over to someone else to take it in that direction. But we are drilling this summer for the first time on our 2 projects. So these are 2 projects running concurrently. We're well financed. We did an IPO late last year. And moving to our next slide here, 4, this is the Lassonde curve after Pierre Lassonde, who many of you may know or have heard of with Franco-Nevada. We're positioned right at the beginning. The way it works in our business, typically for the early stage explorers, you get out the door. If you achieve a discovery, you'll have an initial stage of value creation, which is indicated by the bar on the left there in red. That usually takes you to some pretty significant price appreciation. In previous opportunities I've been involved with, we've certainly run to several dollars in the early discoveries phase. Then you go through the so-called valley of death, where you struggle to prove the scale of what you found, apply engineering metrics, work through the economics, that kind of thing. The market generally doesn't like that phase too much. When you overcome those challenges, there's usually a second phase of value creation that takes it to much higher prices. So we're right at the beginning. We're positioned to start drilling this summer on our 2 projects, and you can look forward to some excitement. I think a key thing, Eric did mention it, we have delivered discoveries before. The backstory on Evergold is pretty straightforward. We established it late in 2015. It was structured around 4 properties that Charlie Gregg, who's a really well-known geologist, very experienced in northwestern BC, worked on Bruce Jack and many of those other mines or current mines in their development stages. Charlie vended in 4 properties entirely for stock. That was early in 2016, and about the same time, I got involved or had, prior to Evergold, been involved with the predecessor to GT Gold. which had an exceptionally fine anomaly. We agreed to mothball Evergold basically to focus on GT gold, and we delivered the GT gold saddle discovery, which is probably soon going to emerge as the most significant major gold copper discovery in the northern portion of the Golden Triangle in the last 20 years. I know they're working on their initial resource there, so that's one to watch. After delivering that discovery, I moved back to Evergold in 2018, and we took the company Evergold public last year. We did that. It was a clean IPO, and it was, I believe, to be the largest IPO in the mining space in Canada last year. That's not saying too much. It was a really bad year for IPOs in Canada last year, but ours was the largest. We raised $3.5 million, and we were able to distribute the stock very widely, which means that currently we've got a nice, clean little company, new, no historical baggage, that has surprisingly good liquidity for a company that's only got about 22 million shares in the available float at the current time. So this goes back to what Eric said before. We have a really fine, a tight capital structure on the company, and we've got the assets that could drive the share price much higher rapidly with some luck. Moving along to slide 6, this is where our properties are. We have 4 of them, but they're really only 2 flagships. Top there on the left is Snowball in the heart of the Golden Triangle, and on the right is Golden Line. Snowball, the next few slides is all about Snowball. Snowball is about as dead center to the heart of the Golden Triangle as you can get. That's it, the Golden Triangle so-called on the right. We're pretty much dead center in the middle of it. At Snowball, the opportunity is quite immediate. We took this property on and we modeled some of the historical work by Noranda back in they had drilled this property at lower elevations back in the early 1990s looking for Eskay style. We felt that their modeling showed the anomaly was open upslope and that the source of it was upslope. So we basically think we found the source of a very strong gold-silver anomaly, and we've got a drill pad already built on it now and ready to go. Slide 9 shows you a view of the Snowball prospect looking north. There's a white dashed line across the middle. The area below the white dashed line was drilled historically by Noranda, and they got high grade veins, some bulk tonnage intercepts. As I said previously, we've done our own modeling, our own sampling of Snowball Ridge and Pyramid Peak along the top of the image there. And we believe that's the source. It's carrying very high grades of gold and silver in talus fines, i.e. greater than half a gram in talus fines, which is exceptionally high. Going to slide 10 here, this is actually a zoomed in plan view, bird's eye view at the top of Pyramid Peak. The little squares and dots you see is sampling that we did. And the average of those 39 samples that are encompassed by the blue line is actually over 0.7 of a gram gold. That's talus fines. Even the median is just under half a gram. And this, I might add, excludes some very high grade, a very high grade sample in talus fines was over 25 grams. So this is a very juicy looking target. This is very similar to the strength of the anomaly that Charlie and I drilled first at GT Gold Saddle Discovery. And we know there's high grade there sitting on surface in the form of rock. There's a sample of one of the boulders there on the left, which runs, depending where you sample it, between 400 and 500 grams per ton silver and 80 to 100 grams per ton gold. So slide 11, again, this is just a photo of Pyramid Peak, our principal target. We think that may be the core of the intrusive system. That's our drill pad, the first pad built on top there. And I would mention that that pad is a special pad. we can drill 360 degrees from it without having to move the drill other than to rotate it, obviously. If so, and if our theory is correct, we could drill off a very substantial volume of rock from that single pad. So it's a really attractive target, and it could unfold as a major discovery quite quickly. That's Snowball and Pyramid Peak. A last word or two on Snowball. The access is actually pretty good by northern BC standards. That's Highway 37 in the distance. It's about 12 kilometers away. We'd simply come up with a road up this rather gentle mountain valley. So Snowball, the pads are built. This last view you're looking at, slide 13, is a second pad we built there to the west of Pyramid Peak, which is on a very high grade outlying vein system. So this is related to the core of the system, but it's about 1 kilometer away from the other pad. So it gives you some idea of the scale. Moving along to Golden Line, this is our second flagship. That's where it is, top right. I'll mention briefly here, many of you are quite familiar with the Golden Triangle. Of course, the Golden Triangle, the principal rocks there, the Stikine Arch. What a lot of people don't realize is the Stikine Arch encompasses Bruce Jack, KSM. It goes northeast through GT's Saddle Discovery and Newcrest's Red Chris Mine, and then it arches down to the east and moves southeast. Golden Line is right in the same rocks. It's in the Stikine terrain, the same rocks as Snowball, Bruce Jack. It's even the same age. We're at the top end of what's known as historical Toodoggone Trend, which was, there was a whole series of very high grade gold silver mines, and there's also 1 or 2 major porphyry mines, Kemess and Mount Milligan. This area could see a lot of renewed activity this year, certainly from us, but also from Benchmark Metals. Eric Sprott bought into Benchmark Metals, and they're just south of us, and they're going to be unfolding a major program, 50,000 meters, on their property south of us. So it'll be an exciting summer. But the opportunity at Golden Line is, again, like Snowball, quite immediate. We've got multiple high-grade targets in outcrop, and we're going to be the first to drill them. Slide 16, that's really the lay of the land. It's much gentler topography than over at Snowball. In the old days, you could actually drive up to Golden Line. That's a shot of the track down there to it. That could be reestablished if we have success this summer. So at Golden Line, slide 17 here, we have 3 principal target areas, GL1, 2, and 3. So I'll march you through those quickly. GL1 was an area that Newmont did some work on back in the early 90s, or 80s rather, including drilling. We modeled their work, and this is the area that initially attracted us to the Golden Line property. The long and short of it is feel they may have interpreted the trend of this high-grade gold-silver system incorrectly. GL1, we did, when we got involved there, we went further afield to the northeast, and we did extensive sampling of soils and rocks, and have basically turned up a series of high-grade targets in outcrop or in high-grade soils. And one of them emerged just last summer up there on where the blue dashed line on slide 18 goes. We call it the GL1 North Ridge target. It is carrying exceptionally high grades of gold in soil, proper soil. Slide 19 is really it. This is a bird's eye view of the GL1 North Ridge target. We think this may be where the main structure goes north from the GL1 historical area. We returned highs, and these are true soils. This is not talus fines. It's actually a rather gentle southern slope to that ridge, more precipitous on the north side, but it returned highs of upwards of almost 15 grams of gold in soil, and a series of others lateral to it, which when we went back to the lab or back to the office and combined it with the satellite imagery, You can see the color, the oxide color bleeding out of the north slopes there. This zone, it appears to be about 500 meters wide. This is very similar to what we had at GT with the Saddle South discovery, which emerged as a very high grade, extensive gold silver vein system. This is a target that we will hit. We will not miss it. It is a question of what the numbers will be. So we're excited by it. Going to the GL2 target area, this is just to the northeast of GL1. What's exciting here is that we've got three different styles of high-grade mineralization in outcrop. High-grade skarn, similar to what Sun Metals has been drilling to the southwest of us on their Stardust property, high-grade epithermal, and high-grade porphyry. I'll just briefly mention or go through all three of these here. The GL2 high-grade skarn. This material that you see on slide 21 is in outcrop. We know nothing more about it other than there are several large outcroppings of this. We can set the drill up on it and we'll be the first to drill it, and it is carrying some pretty sweet looking grades of copper, silver, and gold. Slide 22 is high-grade epithermal. Again, this is in outcrop. That particular sample you're looking at is over 3,000 grams per ton of silver with quite a bit of gold in it as well. Appears to be a vein system of sorts, and nearby there's high-grade porphyry style. Slide 23 is high-grade. This is a target that emerged last summer as well. It's called the East Ridge porphyry target. Briefly, the Toodoggone area has not to date been known for high-grade porphyry-style deposits of the Red Chris KSM variety. However, this outcropping or series of outcroppings that we sampled for the first time last summer appears to be what we'd call a rich gold copper porphyry. It seems to be carrying strong grades of copper. That's it in the image on the left. It seems to be carrying strong grades of gold, and it seems to be carrying some pretty good grades of silver as well. Those are all in the same samples. So that's a target that's outcropping. It's thick. We know nothing more about it, but I can tell you we're going to put the IP on this first thing in the spring, and the other targets as well. And this is a top priority for drilling. And we won't miss this target either. It is in outcrop. That's some of it, slide 24. It actually doesn't look like much on when you're just looking at the outcrop, but you knock a chunk off and it's full of chalcopyrite, some bornite, and various other minerals as well. So our plan for the coming year is pretty straightforward. On Snowball, we're going to get right into the drilling, about 2,500 meters as a phase one, starting in mid-June. The pad is built, as I mentioned. The two pads are built. At Golden Line, we're going to start with geophysics, principally IP. We've already done detailed mag there. We're going to do a lot more geochemistry, and then we're going to get right into the drilling, and that will probably get underway around the 20th of July. Phase one on both projects, and if these projects unfold as we hope they will, and as we've previously did with GT Saddle Discovery, we will expand the program well beyond the anticipated 4,800 meters of drilling. We already spoke briefly about the capital structure of the company. It's only got 27.5 million out approximately. Its float is actually only about 22 million because quite a bit of it's held in escrow. Insiders own about 26% of the company. That comes out in phases over every 6 months out to 2022. Our share price at the minute is up there around 50 cents. We did our IPO at 20 cents in October last year, and so we've seen some significant share price appreciation. I'll close out with a word or two on management. All of us are qualified people. We've all had a lot of experience. Most of us are geologists or geophysicists. Charlie, you can see at the bottom of slide 28 there. We're really looking forward to this project, and I think we can deliver the goods, so please stay tuned, and thanks very much.